Even in retirement, Terence Crawford is still talking about Gervonta Tank Davis. Wow. Well, wait till they get a load of me. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. The Bud Buddies are not going to like this one. Terence Crawford did a stream with Aiden Ross. Yo, Terence Crawford, he's quite the enigma, right? And I told you about this. Notice, I want to say Crawford crew, like Entourage, like Shakur Stevenson and stuff. I feel like they go to, like, it's bizarre because Crawford, he's kind of the one that did it first. Let me explain. Crawford took all these shots at YouTubers, like, oh, why y'all listen to the media? Why y'all, like, the media and YouTubers? He's like, why y'all listen to the media? Why do y'all listen to these YouTubers? They don't know boxing, right? But then you got these guys who will go to non-boxing podcasts who really don't know about boxing. Make that make sense. Okay. It don't make sense. You know what I mean? Like, oh, these YouTubers, they just talking and they don't really know boxing. They don't know the sport. So you go to Aiden Ross. And then on the stream, I didn't watch the whole thing, but I seen clips. A lot of y'all sent me different clips. But Terence Crawford is like, you don't really know anything about boxing to have bet $25K because Aiden Ross said he bet $25,000 on Jake Paul to beat Anthony Joshua. And Crawford's like, you should have just donated it to someone who was homeless because pretty much he wasn't going to win the fight. But this is who Crawford is choosing to stream with, so be it. Now, Crawford is retired, freshly retired. He talked about, he said the Canelo fight, he not rematching Canelo. He said that chapter is done. He did his thing. And he also talked about not really getting credit in his career. He don't feel like he got the proper credit. But he also has some stuff where you're talking about Tank, and I want to get to that. Let me put on the trusty headphones. From the top. Roll the clip.
Hey, what do you think? Like them not calling the fights or them
calling a fight too soon?
Gervonta Roach, do you think that was a knockdown, or do you think
1,000% that was a knockdown?
That was a knockdown.
Yeah.
So why didn't they call that a knockdown?
I don't know. It still should have been a disqualification too.
First of all, why do people say 1,000%? Like, there is no 1,000%. I never understood that. You know what I mean? Where people are like, yeah, 1,000%. Like, you've never charged your cell phone to 1,000%. It's just a little pet peeve of mine. You know what I mean? Like, the battery indicator is 100%, meaning the whole pie, the whole battery, fully charged. I don't understand why people I feel like they feel like it confirms the point more. So they'd be like, man, I'm 1,000% sure. You should just say 100%. Anywho.
Do you think like them not calling the fights or
them calling a fight too soon?
Gervonta Roach, do you think that was a knockdown, or do you think
1,000% that was a knockdown?
That was a knockdown.
Yeah.
So why didn't they call that a knockdown?
I don't know. It should.
Weird question. Why would he know why they didn't call it a knockdown?
1,000% that was a knockdown.
That was a knockdown.
Yeah.
So why didn't they call that a knockdown?
I don't know. It still should have been a disqualification too. Because you can't go in no corner and then your coach come up in the middle of the fight.
Because he was saying his hair, something was got in his eye. That was a knockdown, okay.
You can't take a timeout on yourself in boxing. You can't say timeout and go to the corner and then your coach get up wiping your eyes.
Yeah.
You can't do that.
Yeah.
That's illegal.
Damn, so they what do you think, like them not...
Wow. So Crawford is saying it should have been a disqualification. Oh my gosh. The referee is in charge of the action. I don't understand what people don't get about this. The referee has carte blanche to decide what happens, and the ringside physician. Like Nate Diaz was fighting Jorge Masvidal, right? In New York. Nate Diaz had a cut or something over his eye. The commission did the flashlight. They looked at his eye and they were like, nah, you can't keep competing. Fight over. You got to live with that. Nate Diaz is a warrior. He been cut. He was cutting to Conor McGregor when he fought him the first time and he won the fight or whatever. So Nate Diaz is not going to go out like that. But the commission, the ringside physician, whoever, they got the power. So if they say the fight's over, right? I hate these coulda, shoulda, wouldas in boxing. The people in charge who are officiating, they do their best to reach a solid conclusion. You know, people did this with Deontay Wilder when he fought Luis Ortiz. They're like, oh, Wilder, he was given extra time. He was hurt, and he was afforded all this extra time to recover. Then he comes back and he knocks out Ortiz. I mean, it's how the fight played out. You know what I mean? I don't even understand what the point of belaboring, oh, he should have been disqualified. Surprise, Tank wasn't. So it is what it is. And if we really want to be technical, he's like, you can't call a timeout in the middle of the ring. I've seen it done before. You're not supposed to. I get it. But Nonito Donaire, he fought this dude. I don't remember the location of the fight. It was somewhere abroad, though. I remember that it wasn't in the United States. And Donaire did the same thing. He literally called a timeout. You know, I've seen people get low blowed, and before the referee is like, here's your 5 minutes, they like call their own timeout. We've seen this stuff in boxing, but because it is Gervonta Davis, people tend to hate a whole lot more and try to make this into a bigger deal. You know what I mean? And for me, I don't understand a lot of Crawford's movement. He's a great fighter, but a lot of what he does is kind of mind-boggling at this stage of his career. For example, you diss the WBC and say, F your belt, come take it. I'm not giving you $300K. You should have just took what the other sanctioning bodies took. You think you better. Mauricio Suleiman, you need to slap your effing self, right? And you take these shots at the WBC. Then a week later, you say, I'm out. And retire from the sport of boxing. And now you already got stripped of the WBC, but now they're taking the other belts. You're forced to relinquish them because you're not an active fighter that made an official retirement. It kind of came and went, you know what I mean? And then people start talking about other things. And then a week after you retire, you team up with Aiden Ross after dissing YouTubers and saying they don't know boxing. You go to a streamer kid who's in the new generation and he really don't know boxing, right? So whatever. He gets viewership. You wanted to go, fine. You team up with Aiden Ross for a stream, but I don't really understand it. Like, people told Crawford, you're a great fighter when he's fighting. I'm talking about when he was active. You're a great fighter, turn it up a little bit. And he was like, no, I'm not. I'm not Floyd Mayweather. I'm not Broner. I'm not Jake Paul. I'm not going to turn it up. I'm not going to sell the fight. I got to be me, right? But then after you retire, now you want to stream? Like, isn't this stuff you should have been doing? Like, why didn't you team up with Aiden Ross before the Canelo fight? And if I'm wrong, you guys let me know in the comment section, but I'm probably not, because you know how good I am. The best in the business, and it's not even close. It's just like, it feels bizarre. It feels like Benjamin Button for a career. If you want these streams and stuff where you might get good viewership because they have built-in good viewership, right? Why didn't you do this in your career? Why are you doing it now? And then to retire and then be talking about Tank looks really weird for me. Looks really weird. And Crawford just has like uncomfortable ways. Like he's in a chair and he's like talking low energy. Man, it should have been disqualification. Spinning around in a chair. Like these streamers, Neon, even when like Ryan Garcia does a stream, they turn up. They're young. They turn up. They like, have fun. Like Aiden Ross has some pretty memorable streams, or Kai Cenat or whatever, where they had Chris Brown on there and they're having fun. I remember the Aiden Ross where Tory Lanez was freestyling. It's a stream. You're supposed to like loosen up. Crawford seems a little bit uptight, but beyond that, you're not even fighting anymore. So why do the stream? Like, what's the point of streaming now? And, I mean, unless maybe he wants to be a streamer after talking about YouTubers, maybe he wants to get into that lane. I don't know. It just seems weird. But to be talking about Tank seems exceptionally weird. Like, Lamont Roach already came and had a whole nother fight. The man continues to have draws with other people. Why are we still on this fight from March? Like, the Tank economy is crazy. Max Kellerman, Shakur Stevenson, Keyshawn Davis, Lamont Roach, Terence Crawford, all these dudes, Jake Paul, like all these dudes have talked about Tank. Tank has probably popped out like 1 or 2 times this whole year. Jake Paul press conference when the fight was a green light, and maybe like one other time, or when he was fighting Lamont Roach. He ain't even really popped out, but everybody in game of boxing keep uttering this man's name. And don't give me like, oh, but Aiden Ross, he's the one that was asking the questions, because they can ask you about your girl and what position she liked. That don't mean you're going to answer it. You know what I mean? You don't have to answer a question. I'll just be like, for me, I can't, if anybody who knows me, I can't have my whole existence tied around the actions or the name of somebody else. It's not going to happen.
Has Canelo's team reached out to your team about a rematch or no?
Never. No.
Really? Shit.
You wouldn't give him a rematch?
Man, it's over with.
It's over with, yeah.
It's over with.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If it was a rematch clause in the contract, then I had to honor that, but it's over with.
Has Canelo's team reached...
So there you have it. He said there's no rematch clause. It's over with. But then he started saying stuff like, there's no one left for me to fight. Cap. Now, you chose to do the Canelo fight, you and Turkey, when you did it. So if you're saying there's no bigger fight, cool. But there's definitely people you could fight. Virgil Ortiz, Jerron Boots Ennis, Jermell Charlo, Janabek, Edislandi Lara, Hamza Shiraz, Diego Pacheco. Canelo allegedly wanted a rematch. David Benavidez. Some people want to see you fight Bivol. You have guys like Murder Zylev. I mean, there's people you could fight. Definitely people you could fight. But Fundora, you know what I mean? I could keep going. But, it is what it is. He feels accomplished and he feels he don't need to. But the point of this video is I just feel like it's backwards. Why are you doing the streams now after you retired when people are trying to get you to show more of yourself and be more in the public eye as an active fighter? Now you lose all your belts and now you go on Aiden Ross, and then to boot, you have points where you're talking about Tank. Like, it's just weird. Why is everyone so fixated on Tank versus Lamont Roach? Again, Lamont Roach already came back and fought, had another draw with Pitbull Cruz. Why are we still talking about that fight? The referee did what he did. Lamont Roach tried to protest it, got nowhere with it. The commission said no, the results stand. People still talking about this knee. It's crazy. Tank is definitely this generation's Floyd Mayweather, because it's the same energy where people will find weird ways to incorporate Floyd Mayweather into the conversation, right? You're with Aiden Ross. Talk about Shakur Stevenson and Teofimo. Why not talk about Keyshawn Davis and him fighting Jermaine Ortiz on that card? Why even talk about Tank? But again, that's how you know Tank is popping. For a streamer like Aiden Ross, he probably don't have no better questions but to bring up Tank, but to bring up Floyd Mayweather and surface area question, which he did bring up both of those subjects to Terence Crawford. He was like, how would a fight play out between you and Floyd? What about Tank and Roach? Like, it's just all surface area stuff. So it goes to show you Floyd and Tank are popping. You want clicks, use their names. And it's kind of pathetic. Boxing is truly in a pathetic place where people are acting like all these other fights in a way just fought. Talk about him. Why? People, see, this is what I don't hear. Let me take this off. This is what I don't respect. And if you are a real fan and you hear my words and you're serious and real with yourself, you won't respect it either. If you're a man or woman who believes in principles and values, you got old media and people who will hype up these fighters like Inoue. And they'll be like, oh, Naoya Inoue. Oh, my gosh, Inoue. Inoue is the best fighter I've ever seen. Pound for pound #1. Then they take a black fighter like Gervonta Davis, all slander. Oh, he a woman beater. Oh, Tank is bad. Oh, Tank is not pound for pound. Tank don't care about legacy. Tank has a horrible resume. They say all these nasty things about Tank, right? All these great things about Inoue. But then you tell Inoue to move up to fight Tank, and they're like, no. But they're okay with Jake Paul moving up to fight Anthony Joshua. They're okay with Gervonta Davis fighting a 190-pound Jake Paul. But the guy they say is great, Naoya Inoue, and #1 pound for pound, they don't want him to fight Tank at any weight because they know Tank would be the bigger fighter for once, right? But beyond that, Naoya Inoue literally just fought in all these streams, all these streamers, all these people, all these interviews. They praise him and hoist him up and say he's #1, but then they never talk about him. He literally just fought, and you don't have no comments, no questions, no nothing about his fight and his performance. But then the guy who's not even good, according to them, not even on the pound for pound list, according to them, not a top 10, not a legacy fighter, not a Hall of Famer, a bad person outside the ring. They spend all their time on podcasts, streams, interviews, mentioning the guy that allegedly means so little. And if you don't think that's fake, then you're probably part of the problem because you're fake too. Tank Davis is like, there's other things to talk about. And then for me to say this stuff, they'll say, oh, Ego, you're obsessed with Tank. But y'all talk about Tank more than me. I'm talking about Tank in response to what's being said. Remember, Tank has tax issues. Tank is fighting Abner Mares. Well after, like recently, they were saying he was fighting Abner Mares. Tank is fighting El Rayo. All these lies. Tank did this. Tank's about to get sued. Tank, he's broke. He can't retire because he's too broke. Tank's going to jail. Tank this, Tank that. Tank's retired. Y'all spend more time talking and then got the nerve to try to flip it on me and be like, oh, Ego, because I'm cooking and I'm keeping it real. And I made the game of boxing look pretty. They gonna try to flip it on me like you're obsessed with Tank. But they don't say nothing to these dudes like Terence Crawford, who just retired, and he's even entertaining Tank cover. He should have been disqualified. Why would you care? If you're a 3X undisputed, like if I'm not Crawford, but if I was Crawford and I'm 3X undisputed, allegedly got $50 million, I wouldn't care about none of these other dudes and what happened in a fight in March, right? So I feel like deep down inside, these other fighters like Shakur, that Terence Crawford, like people like that who are accomplished and people give props to them for their skill, Tank has something that they want. And it's just the popular vote or something, because somehow, some way, it always keeps circling back to Tank. Shakur, he worked with Jake Paul when Jake Paul was supposed to fight Tank, and he trying to get Tank beat. Him, Keyshawn, Ray Ford, Montana Love, all these people who diss Tank have had spats with Tank. They all joined forces with a white YouTuber in Jake Paul, who just got knocked out by a black British fighter, right? Got his jaw broken when he fought someone bigger and someone who could box, right? They teamed up, all flew out to Puerto Rico to try to help him defeat Gervonta Davis, because a lot of them have a personal beef with Tank Davis. The game is just in a bad spot, bro. But I'm in a great spot. My channel's great. Shout out to Eagles Army. Got the Cash Apps. Got the Happy Holidays. Messages from y'all. The super thanks. I can't say how much I am grateful. I'm ready for this new year, 2026. We're going to just keep turning up and building the channel. So if you want to be a part of that Eagles Army for real boxing news, definitely subscribe. Live streaming can be tough, which is why I use StreamYard. Click the link in the description for StreamYard, which is an awesome tool that enables you to set up your stream with ease of use. Get great results with live streaming. It's what I use. Stream to social media with ease with StreamYard. Live streaming is here to stay. Engage with your audience using StreamYard. Great way to reach out to your audience and connect. So you need a tool that can do that. If you're new to YouTube and you're struggling to get views, one tool I can provide to you is TubeBuddy. I've been on YouTube over 10 years. I use TubeBuddy daily to crank out videos just like this one that you're watching. Learn how the pros do it with TubeBuddy. YouTube receives a lot of traffic, which also means a lot of creators, a lot of people putting out content. So you need to learn the ropes so you know how to separate yourself, especially if you're new. But even if you're a pro, use TubeBuddy. The link is in the description. Get more views, more subscribers, and a higher click-through rate, so ultimately you can realize all of your online goals. Use my affiliate link in the description and grow your channel fast.